welcome to Badaboom. I'm Troy. On today's episode, we welcome Derek Kim Kirk and Jacob Perez, the writer and artist behind the new comic book, Royals. Listen in as we talk about the inspiration behind the story of two brothers who share a telepathic connection with each other and use it to get rich quick and all that entails. Badaboom! Hey Derek, hey Jacob, how's it going?
Hey,
Good.
Hey guys.
it's going great.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on and talking to us about your new book, Royals, which I saw it like out of the corner of my eye one time, I think on Instagram that it was coming out, and then when I went to my shop and tried to get it, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're sold out." They're already doing a second printing. So, how did this book come about? Because it's been pretty well received.
Yeah, I mean, do you want to take it, Jacob, or you want
No, you started it.
you finished it? No, yeah, it's I just had this story idea, and originally I wrote it as a film script at first, and then I was working with a couple actors to do that, and then that project kind of fell through, and then so I was just sitting on this amazing script, or at least amazing for me, and then so I decided, what if I when I got back into comics, I thought maybe I could, change the script around so it could work as a comic book, and then Image said yes, so I was super excited, and then I went to look for an artist, and I was already following Jacob on Instagram and loved his work, and he had an amazing interrogation scene as the art piece there, so it kind of really fit in with one of the scenes in my book, so I thought he'd be perfect for it. So I asked Jacob, and luckily he was dumb enough to come on board. So yeah, no, seriously though, lucky for me. I mean, Jacob's been incredible, and just blew me away, and blowing a lot of people away. I've seen a lot of comments where they're like, they can't believe it's his first comic, which is what I said when I was first getting the art back. So
Yeah,
That's been nice to hear.
what's that been like though? I don't believe this has been your first comic book ever. Because I really like your style, and like, man, I don't know. It's hard to put my finger on like, what does this remind me of? Does it remind me of like other comics I read as a kid, or is this like Saturday morning cartoons? Like, I can't put my finger on like, but I know it reminds me of something, and I feel like that's what you want, like in someone that, especially if it's your first comic, is like something that's familiar but like still unique and original at the same time. So, what's that been like for you, Jacob? Of like, this being your first comic book, and people are eating it up with the story and the art.
Yeah. Well, it was I feel incredibly lucky to my first comic was written by Derek. So that made it a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable too, because it was like a good story that I was totally on board for. And but yeah, I've always heard people say that doing comics is so much different than just drawing pictures. Like it's so much more involved with like storytelling and and you're doing everything too. Like I came from a character designer background in animation, and it was like jumping into the deep end in terms of like honing my drawing skills, because I had to draw everything. You got to draw all the backgrounds, all the props, nobody else is there to help you. It's just a one-man assembly line basically, and you're doing everything. To the lettering, like I did all the lettering and stuff too, and it was a super long process. So I have a newfound respect for comic artists. But as far as my style, I've heard different people say different things. Like after the comic came out, I've heard a lot of people say like, "Oh, it looks anime," a little bit, which is funny because I'm not a big like anime person. I've watched a couple of the shows, but I never grew up drawing that stuff as a kid, and I wouldn't even say it's a huge influence. But I can see where people are coming from when they say that. But yeah, I don't know. I take influence from a lot of different elements. So maybe just that weird mix made something that looks a little anime. I don't know.
I think the thing, Jacob, that makes your stuff kind of seem anime is not the art style. I think it's the way you tell the story. Because like a big thing that manga brought in and anime brought in, I think, is like when you look at French comics, they're very kind of like, it's almost like a play, like you're kind of far away from it and you just watch the action happen. Whereas manga, it's like you're in the action, you know. And I
Mm,
think Jacob brings that, especially in the action scenes. And
yeah.
that part feels much more like Eastern comics influence to me than Western comics influence, at least to me.
Yeah. There are parts in the comic where I think the like the European comic fan in my head, was speaking.
Yeah.
And so
Oh,
you'll see
definitely.
like the kind of far off shots, like in
Yes.
the fight scenes or whatever, or the chase scenes. But yeah, that makes sense. I could see where people are coming from.
Yeah, and that's like a really unique combination of like your style of drawing, but also as soon as you said, "Oh, this was adapted from like a film script that you had," I'm like, "Oh, that kind of makes sense." I kind of feel like I can see that with like some of the pacing, with like especially in the last issue with the fight scene between the two brothers. I was like, "Oh, I can definitely kind of thread the needle a little bit of like where this kind of would have played out in a movie." So I think both your guys' styles of like how this was written originally and adapted and your style are very complementary in this book together. And I think a lot of people see that, which is why they're like, you're already on your second printing. I mean, when I picked up my copy of Royals, the blur's not gonna get it. I was like, oh crap, it's a second printing. I wanted a first printing.
Yeah.
Uh, and
Now you can't sell it.
yeah, well, I was like, I want to collect it, and all that stuff because I have the
Well,
other two
actually,
issues here.
the print run of the second printing is much smaller, so who knows?
Who
Maybe
knows?
in
Who
the
knows?
future it'll be worth more.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. And so, what's that been like with people? Like, I feel like not a lot of books kind of go back to second printing unless it's like, hey, we sold out of this, and a lot of people came into the shop and were asking about it. I mean, I went into my shop and was like, hey, do you guys have this book? And they're like, hey, we only ordered like 10 copies, and they were all gone like within the first 2 hours of opening the store. So
Wow.
I had to go to a second shop, and they were like, "Oh yeah, it was like a week later I was there, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we have like the second printing or something," and I didn't even realize when I bought it was a second printing. But but people definitely want to read the book because it's a unique story, and we're gonna say again how great the art is, but what's that been like receiving, the warm welcome that people have had towards the book?
Oh man, it's been an absolute blast, and in seeing the reactions for this third issue has like completely rejuvenated our juices because it's kind of like everything we had hoped for. Because there's a big thing that happens at the end of the third issue, which I don't think it looks like, from what I can tell, like nobody really expected. So all the readers, I mean. So yeah, we've been seeing all these comments where people are like, "What?" And I didn't see this coming, and people getting their minds blown. So that's been really gratifying, and yeah, having the first issue did really well, and I think that we kind of rode the sort of wave where a lot of image number ones were kind of being really talked about a lot, or like I guess a lot of people wanted to see, what the new stuff is out, or the new stuff that was out, and like it started with like Dork, and then is it White Sky?
White Sky, and then I
Yeah,
think there are a couple of
yeah,
like indie creator owned things that kind of like really went up. But
yeah.
I think it's been really cool to see again with your book where that's continued. Like people are really excited with three because sometimes people pick up that first issue and they're like, okay, I saw it. That's it. But it's been really cool to see that continuing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
And for you, like, what's it been like being able to shift that approach? Because obviously you wrote it as a film script, and what's it been like to kind of switch it back to or switch it to a comic book? Did you expand the idea, or was it something that you feel like you had to tailor a little bit more? Because again, the book is really big. So what's it been like, sort of like expanding the scope?
Yeah, I mean, now that it is a comic, I feel like it was meant to be a comic. To me, I mean, I can't see it any other way now, other than through Jacob's artwork and the way he paced everything, the way he did the action, all that stuff, the emotions. I think it works way better as a comic, actually, to be honest. If we had done it, if we'd actually that actually had gone through, I think we would have had to limit a lot of things because it would have been a very low budget kind of production.
Mm.
Just like an indie production. So I think, like for example, like the action scene with the car chase sequence in the second issue with the tour bus and all that stuff in the city. I mean, I honestly don't know if he could have even shot some of that stuff, you know. And because Jacob added so much to the action, that stuff that you every shot, every car crash, all that stuff you have to consider into the budget and what you can do and what streets you can cut off and all that kind of stuff in a film that I don't think we could have even done half of that stuff. And then you'll see further down the line in the fourth, fifth, and sixth issue, there are some crazy action scenes that would have literally probably cost millions of dollars. And I think our budget was like $2 million at most if we'd gone with it. So yeah, the comics just afford you that ability to just do whatever you want. You're only limited by your imagination. So yeah, and Jacob really brought that to the fore. So yeah, I'm really happy actually that it just ended up as a comic, to be honest.
That's awesome. And, shout out to you, Jacob, because when I read it, I didn't feel like, and sometimes you read that way, creator owned, but you're like, was this a movie pitch? Because it kind of is paced like that, or like, you're like, hey, but I felt like when I read it, I was like, this is a comic. This is, something where I feel like I can only experience this way. And that's why I feel so big. And I think what you guys have done is really cool because, again, it came from a pitch, but it doesn't feel like, okay, let me just take this, pitch that I had and let's move it over to a comic. It feels like very much something from you guys that's tailored to that comic experience, and I think that's why people have continued to read it even after issue 1.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it was super fun because I don't know how I've worked on other comic projects now, and like on other projects they were broken down by like panel, like what's in this panel, and I know people write different ways or whatever, but when I got the script from Derek, it was just chopped up by pages. So that allowed me a lot of wiggle room to like play with the pacing myself and like the panel counts. And that's why it was kind of a beginner's mistake. It was kind of, but also something that I think afforded me a lot of room to like act with the characters too. But there's a lot of panels on each page. So some of the pages, the panel count is pretty high. I think, I think in issue 1 there's like a 17 panel page, and I mean that's pretty. I mean, what the average.
I mean, you
like,
made it hard on yourself.
Yeah, I know, I did.
He didn't ask you.
I just want to say I had nothing to do with that. That was
lesson learned.
I wasn't putting that on Jacob.
But it was fun. It was like Derek had a good balance of letting me go off the rails in some areas, but then reining me in on the areas where I needed to be reined in. So
there were, believe it or not, there were pages with more panels. We cut out some panel.
Yeah.
But I think it works the way Jacob draws. I think it works so well with little panels actually, because he's more of a cartoonier kind of cartoonist. So if you had like art like I don't know, like, Silvestri or something, who was an amazing artist. But if you put that kind of detailed art into tiny panels, I think it would just look like a noodly, like just too much, right? But with Jacob, you read it really fast. So I personally don't feel like you really feel it, the number of panels,
Yeah, I think especially in issue 3 in the fight scene, like there is one page I'm thinking of that has, I think, maybe like 8 or 9 panels, but it's all action, and I really like how it's drawn because it's like, oh, you can see how the action's coming from this panel, but then the panel's not right beside it's like below it, and then like the action's like weaving in together with the panels on like a little bit different format, but it feels more like you're moving with the characters and with the action at the same time. And this is also the panel, so I was like, was this a movie? But the payoff is really good because like I don't feel like I see very many splash panels or splash pages, and then the next page is like, oh yeah, you don't see a lot of them, but when you see them, they're very important, and you feel that emotional depth. So like, okay,
yeah, that's a great point. Actually, I should have pointed that out. The advantage of using those smaller panels is that when we do use a big one, it has so much more impact, just like you were saying. And that last page is probably one of the best examples I think in the book.
Yeah, I think there's only 2 of those in the whole entire series.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The splash panels, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that actually.
Yeah.
My wife, she she actually helped me color like flat some of the pages. So shout out to my wife for for that. But she hadn't read the comic the whole time I was working on it. So she didn't know the story. She didn't know anything about it. And so she's been reading the issues as they've been coming out, which is really fun to see her reaction. And when she got to that splash page or that splash panel on, on the third issue, I was sitting right next to her when she was reading it. She was totally thrown for a loop. She had no idea. So it was pretty fun I hope everyone else is having the same reaction as she is. But yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I've heard people said that they literally gasped.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot. Yeah.
And
No, and
oh, Chris, go for it.
no, I was gonna say, like, especially with, what I really like about, especially the first issue is that as soon as you sort of get into the world, you feel like there's a history. Like, do you guys feel like there's gonna be, you'd want to expand this world, the history of the brothers? Because, like I said, when you sort of meet them, you feel like, hey, like, I feel, and I like this about like stories getting put in the middle where there's like, hey, like, there's this context, there's this feel, and I think that really like speaks to your art because it's like, hey, these characters have texture. So do you guys feel like you want to expand it, or is there been any plans to expand it?
I mean, yeah, like you said, there's a lot of history there that's in my head, and probably now in Jacob's head after I told him. Yeah. So, yeah, it would be amazing to be able to tell more stories after this initial 6-issue story. I actually did have Jacob, I don't even know if I ever told you this. I actually had when I first wrote the first draft, had a sequence where they're babies, and you see them first doing the telepathic thing together.
Oh, I think I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess,
but maybe not. I don't. Gosh, I don't know. That would be cool though. Just do a little 6-page mini zine or whatever.
Yeah, that would be cool. But yeah, it's what's that? Yeah. 0. Yeah, there we go. But yeah, it was the mom first realizing that they were talking to each other mentally, and she's like,
that's cool.
Out. Yeah, and then she calls this priest, and she's freaking out, like, oh my god, what's going on with my kids? And yeah, and then there's like a lightning strike, and then it was going to cut to a lightning strike in Seoul when they're all grown up. So that was the original beginning.
Oh, no way, dude. I did not know that. That's crazy.
Jacob, I'll send you the script pages if you ever want to see
it. Okay. Wow.
It's like 5 pages or something.
Wow.
But I felt like I do love stories where you're in, what is that called? In res, mid res or something. There's a term for that when you're starting in the middle of a story. But because of what you said, Chris, I like the idea of people imagining like what their pasts were and all that stuff before you even jump in, and people filling in their own big blank spots in the story, right? And I thought that would be really fun too. And also, when you get to one of the practical reasons we had to pack so much too in each page was I didn't want to burden Jacob with too many pages, in the story. I try to make it as compact as possible. And I was like, that's a cool scene, but is it really necessary for the story? And I was like, nah, just cut it. So yeah, I just cut it. And I do like the idea of it just starting right in the middle of Seoul, where it's just all these lights and colors, and it's really exciting. And then you see the back of their heads, and then you just see that they're talking to each other through their minds. Starting the story off right off the bat with that, I think is like a very jolting kind of, whoa, what the heck is going on? This is so weird, right? So yeah, so I thought it worked better in that sense too.
Yeah, and Jacob, how did that work for you, like drawing the characters? Because I think sometimes you think when someone's talking in the comic book, like you can see their face or a certain part of their perspective, but because they can talk telepathically, like they don't even need to be looking at each other, or they can be in completely different locations and stuff. So how did that affect how you approach drawing each character, and like how much of their face is going to be showing, or what are they going to be looking at to make sure people can tell they're communicating because of the different colors of the thought bubbles, but also like making sure they're staying in the moment of whatever action they're taking.
Yeah, that the colored thought bubbles was actually a solution that I I wouldn't say came up with, because people do it all the time, but I used about halfway through the process. And I realized there was a certain scene where I was like, gosh, this would be so much easier if the bubbles were just color coordinated. And then I was like, oh, I could just do that, I guess. So I think I sent Derek a text. I was like, can I just do colored, bubbles? And I almost wanted to do no, how you have the balloon and then you have the little dots that go to the proper balloon.
Yeah.
I wanted to do no dots for a second, and just have them almost like you see in modern comics, where it's just the little caption box that says what they're thinking. But do it with the word balloons, like the thoughts. But it would have gotten a little confusing. So I think the dots helped connect, to their heads or whatever. But as far as like, them not moving their mouths when they're talking or not being in the same room, like, I think there wasn't anything too crazy that I ran into that was too hard. But it was fun to get them to like act a little bit. There's a scene in the casino earlier on in issue 1 where they're talking telepathically, and Paul is really upset with Castor, and he's kind of like flailing his arms and he's gesturing really. He's gesturing a lot. Sorry, I'm still waking up here. I need my coffee too. But they're nothing. People around them can't hear anything, so they're having a conversation in broad daylight in front of people. That just looks so bizarre. So there's a couple times where you see people in the background kind of like looking at them weird, like what the heck? There's just two guys just acting like crazy people on the corner. So that was fun. And then I forgot is there more to that question or?
No, I mean.
No, that was it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think.
You do, I was just going to say, Jacob, you do great backhead.
Oh, yeah. You know what's so funny? To get into like a weird thing, and I was noticing this on my new project that I'm working on. For some reason, the back of the head and the ears are like every time I draw it, it doesn't look right to me. So I sit there and I go like, gosh, it's so frustrating sometimes. It's like writing a word and you're not sure you spelled it right. And it looks weird.
That's a great comparison. Yeah. Sometimes with the back of the ears, you just got to fake it. You know what I mean? Like, they probably wouldn't stick out as much in real life from the back. Yeah. But you have to show what angle the head is at. So
true. Yeah. Sometimes. Like a 3/4 rear view. Exactly. You show the back ear or not. Exactly. And sometimes you want to, but technically it wouldn't be right.
Right.
Artist problems, I guess. Huh?
Yeah. And you try to do 17 panels of that.
Exactly.
So
that's why I prefer to turn the camera towards the characters. It makes it a lot easier.
It's dope. What it reminds me of, especially like when we're talking telepathically. I don't know if it was Young Justice or like animated DC movie, but there was a time where Blue Beetle would be talking to the Scarab, but they never show the Scarab talking to him. So everyone around him would think he was crazy. It's like, is he really talking to the Scarab? Like, most people around is like, I don't think that's real. I think he's just doing that.
Yeah, if the story ever got made into like an animated form or live action form, I think that part would be really fun to see the actual people in the background like reacting to them. Because I mean, we can show it in a comic, but it's not as there'll be movement and stuff. So in the people in the background, I mean, so we can have a more detailed reaction to the people. Yeah,
the comedy doesn't really read well in a comic like like that.
That's the one. I think that's the one part where I think in motion it would work better.
Yeah,
but everything else is better in comic.
Yeah, and I think it's also interesting to see how well that telepathic conversation these brothers have really like shows how much of brothers they actually are, because like going back and like rereading the issues, I've like was like, hey, why didn't he just say like, hey, I won all this money? He's like, no, I'm gonna stress my brother out and he's gonna run here. And I'm like, man, that's such sibling behavior. So like it's easy to see like how much of brothers they actually are from sometimes it's like, hey, I'm gonna really annoy you so much, to like, no, we're just gonna fist fight, and hopefully in the next couple issues there's a little bit of like, we actually do love each other a little bit, but but
I hope so.
I picture in the issue 1 when Castor is taking that elevator ride down from the casino floor, that he's just, Paul's screaming in his head and he's just
Right.
giggling to himself. He's just chuckling. Like that's what I pictured him coming out of that. And he has to put on a straight face when he steps out of the elevator.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, but I won."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
But-
did a. Oh, sorry. I was
No,
going to
no.
say we did a reading at WonderCon, and we had actual actors come and read the voices and everything. So we were on the panel, and then I would project each panel, and then we had all these great actors reading the parts. And the part where the Gangnam Style like kicks in, or he starts dancing like Psy, we played really well. The music kicked in, and everyone was laughing, and it was really fun.
And for this not being a movie, it sounds like it's really teeing up to be a movie. But where can people stay up to date with you guys? Find out more about Royals, and is there anything else you guys are working on after this that you can share?
Oh,
Yeah,
all
you've heard-
right. Well, you can find me at Instagram at Derek Kirk Kim, just my name, all one word. And I am working on a few. I'm actually working on 3 books. None of it's been announced yet, but yeah, I have a graphic novel that I'm writing for First Second Books, which was published a lot of my other books as well, originally before I went into animation. So I'm doing one for them. I'm doing they just launched an adult line called 23rd Street. So I'm doing another book for that line. And then I am doing a book for Oni, another series. And yeah, so those are the 3 that I'm working on actively. And then, of course, my continuing series, Last Mermaid, which also comes out from Image Comics. I had to take a break from that to work on these other books and Royals, but I'll be going back to serializing it. Hopefully, it'll come out next year. That's what I'm shooting for. The art's very labor intensive, so I'm just trying to do the art around writing all these other books. But so hopefully that'll be out next year. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, and that gives us time to catch up on all the other issues of Last Mermaid you've already got out.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
That gives us time to catch up on all the other issues of Last Mermaid that are already out. So
that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Yeah, there's 6 out so far.
Yeah. And then you could find me on Instagram at JTP_art, just my initials and then _art. And right now I am working on a trilogy of graphic novels with Gene Yang. He wrote all illustrating, and it's been super fun so far. I just finished the first book. And then now I'm jumping right into the second book. And the first one should come out next year. I think the date is being figured out right now, but it's with 23rd Street as well, that same publishing company that Derek was talking about.
Yeah,
so it's super fun. And it's Gene Yang. It's his first adult graphic novel. So if you've ever read a Gene book, there's not a lot of swearing or a lot of violence or whatever. But this one, it's pretty gory. It's more violent than Royals, actually, which is really funny. So
way more violent.
Yeah, way more violent, more gory than Royals. So it's been fun. I had to study my Ryan Otley blood splatters to work on this book.
he's the king. He's the master.
But yeah, that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of it. It's incredible. It's Jacob did this book after Royals, so it's even better, I think, than even Royals. Like, I mean, not that it's Royals is bad, of course, but it was his first book, so he's kind of like sharpening his skills, and it's really really good. And like Jacob was saying, it's like a really different territory for Gene Luen Yang. He writes the Ninja Turtles books right now, and I've been friends with him my whole life, even from the very beginning. So to see him like his evolution from Superman to this to American Born Chinese and everything, and then doing this crazy adult book, it's been an absolute thrill. And seeing it in Jacob's art is just like the cherry on top. So yeah. I'm really excited to see what people are going to think.
Yeah, it's a good book because it's really funny. It's called Overrated, by the way. I can say the title.
Yeah,
Overrated, and It's so great because Gene, he's got a good like funny bone. He writes really funny scripts. So I was chuckling to myself the whole time doing it. But it's also really deep too, which is good. There's a lot of good timely messaging and stuff or themes and whatnot from the book. So yeah, it's pretty good. I'm excited for it to come out.
Yeah, it's very, very timely. It touches on a lot of the AI stuff that's going on right now, stuff like that. Yeah, like where we going as a species, just minor stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
End of the world stuff. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we got you guys now for Royals, because it seems like 2027 is going to be a very busy year for both you guys. So, we'll put your guys' socials in the video descriptions below so you guys can stay up to date with Derek and Jacob in 2027 and see all the projects they've got coming out. Make sure you pick up Royals and check it out because it's on second printing, maybe on a third, because it's going to be that good. But thank you guys so much for taking the time. I know we're all in different time zones today and everyone's schedule was crazy, but we really appreciate you coming on and talking to us about your Royal. And with that, bada boom.
Bada boom.
Bada boom.
Bada boom.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening to the Badaboom podcast. Keep the conversation going on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Get in the comments on our YouTube channel and let us know what you'd like to hear next. And please subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen.